The Galactic Council chamber floated in the void between stars, a massive ring of crystalline architecture that had witnessed 1,000 species rise and fall. Today, it bore witness to mockery. Humans? Ambassador Thexler's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among the Crithian species. You cannot be serious, Counselor. They've been spacefaring for barely 2 centuries. Their longest war lasted 6 years. 6. The insectoid diplomat's 4 eyes gleamed with amusement. Anna Chen sat perfectly still in the human delegation seat, her face an impassive mask. As Earth's chief diplomatic envoy, she'd endured 3 hours of this ridicule. The proposal was simple. Humanity requested membership in the Galactic Defense Coalition. The response had been anything but simple. Their ships are primitive, added High Commander Zephix of the Avolian hegemony, his scales shimmering purple with disdain. Fusion drives, chemical propulsion for atmospheric craft. They still use metal for hull plating. Metal. His serpentine neck swayed as he addressed the assembly. The youngest species in the coalition has quantum-fold drives and hard-light shielding. What could humans possibly contribute? Anna's fingers tightened imperceptibly on her data tablet. She knew what humanity could contribute. She'd seen it in development, sworn to secrecy by 3 governments and the United Earth Space Command. But the Council had to learn the hard way. The Vekari swarm approaches the outer rim, she said quietly, her voice cutting through the chamber's vast space with surprising clarity. Your projections show they'll reach coalition space within 8 months. You've lost 17 battles against them in the last year. Perhaps fresh perspectives have value. Fresh? Thexler's laughter became a chittering screech. Perspectives from a species that only just discovered antimatter, that maps their own solar system with physical probes. No, Ambassador Chen. Humanity may observe the coalition's operations, may learn from our advanced civilizations, but you will not fight beside us. Not for at least another century, perhaps 2. The vote was swift. Unanimous rejection except for Earth's own vote. Anna gathered her materials, bowed with careful respect, and departed. As the airlock sealed behind her shuttle, she allowed herself a thin smile. UESC Actual, this is Envoy 1, she transmitted on encrypted channels. Authorization code Whisper 7 Alpha. Execute Operation Midnight Garden. 16 light-years away, Commander Jenny Okonkwo received the message in the command sphere of the UESC Shadow of Earth. Unlike every human vessel the Galactic Council had catalogued, the Shadow appeared on no registry. Its existence was theoretical, its location unknown, its capabilities beyond what any alien species believed possible. All stations commence final preparations, Jenny announced, his deep voice resonating through the Neuralink system. At 28, he was young for a ship commander, but the Shadow demanded youth. The neural interface required reflexes and adaptability that older minds couldn't provide. The Shadow didn't look like a warship. It barely looked like anything at all. 2 kilometers of carbon composite darkness. Its hull was layered with metamaterial that bent electromagnetic radiation around its surface. Quantum processors managed a heat-sink system that dissipated waste energy across dimensional boundaries too small for conventional sensors to detect. It didn't just evade detection. It existed in a space between detection, neither present nor absent in any measurable way. Engineering reports dark matter drive is nominal, reported Lieutenant Kess from her station. Gravitic compensators online. We can reach 0.95 light speed without relativistic effects. Weapons? Jenny asked. Railgun capacitors charged, relativistic kill vehicles armed, and Lieutenant Torres paused dramatically. The Casimir array is ready for deployment. Jenny nodded. The Casimir array was humanity's crown jewel, a weapon that exploited quantum vacuum energy to generate destructive force at a scale that would horrify the Galactic Council. It was also precisely the kind of weapon humanity would never use, except as a demonstration. 3 days later, the Vekari swarm entered the Hellion system, fourth colony of the Avolian hegemony. The aliens came as they always did, a cloud of millions of biomechanical drones, each the size of a fighter craft, coordinated by hiveship minds that computed faster than standard AI. They moved like a plague, consuming resources, converting matter, expanding endlessly. The coalition fleet met them with force. 300 capital ships, their quantum-fold drives creating ripples in spacetime, their hard-light shields gleaming like soap bubbles in the system's blue star. High Commander Zephix commanded from the dreadnought Eternal Victory, confidence radiating from every scale. All ships Delta formation, he commanded. Concentrate fire on hiveship clusters. We'll break them in 12 hours. The battle began with spectacular light shows, lances of coherent energy, missiles that folded space to reach their targets, shields flaring as they absorbed kinetic impacts. For 30 minutes, it seemed the coalition might prevail. Then the swarm adapted. It always adapted. Drones began generating interference fields that disrupted quantum-fold targeting. They learned the frequency patterns of hard-light shields and modulated their weapons to penetrate them. The bioships released spores that attached to coalition hulls and began converting the metal into more drones. Retreat to defensive position Beta, Zephix ordered, watching in horror as his fleet count dropped from 300 to 270, then 240. The swarm was learning faster than his tacticians could adjust. In the command sphere of the shadow of Earth, Jenny watched the battle unfold through sensor data transmitted from a probe no larger than a grain of sand, positioned at the battle's edge. "They're losing," Anna's voice came through quantum-encrypted comm. She'd returned to Earth but maintained contact. "The Council is receiving the same data. They're preparing evacuation of the Hellion colonies." "Not today," Jenny replied. "Helm, initiate insertion protocol. Navigation, plot solution to grid position Epsilon 7, directly between the coalition fleet and the swarm's advancing edge." "Sir," Lieutenant Kess said carefully, "that's the kill zone. We'll be in crossfire from both sides." "Exactly." Jenny's smile was predatory. "They laughed at us. Time to change the conversation, go dark." The shadow of Earth folded space without using quantum drives. Its dark matter propulsion created a temporary pocket of altered physics, allowing the ship to effectively teleport across 70 astronomical units in 14 seconds. It emerged in the battle's heart, invisible to every sensor both Coalition and Vakari possessed. "Sir, we're detecting Coalition weapons signatures. Incoming fire in 3, 2. "Maintain stealth protocols," Jenny ordered calmly. Energy beams passed through the space the shadow occupied, their targeting computers never registering the ship's presence. Swarm drones swarmed around it, searching for the heat signature or mass reading that would trigger their attack protocols. They found nothing. "Weapons free," Jenny commanded. "Let them see what humans built." The shadow fired. Its railguns accelerated tungsten carbide projectiles to fractional light speed, without producing the energy signature conventional weapons generated. The projectiles appeared on sensors only as they struck, 50 swarm drones disintegrating in the first salvo, their biomechanical components torn apart by kinetic force measured in gigatons. The swarm recoiled, attempting to locate the threat. The coalition fleet ceased fire, sensors desperately scanning. "Unknown vessel has engaged the swarm," Zephix's tactical officer reported. "But sir, we can't detect it, it's a ghost." Jenny initiated Phase 2. The Shadow launched its relativistic kill vehicles, missiles that accelerated to 99.9% light speed using dark matter drives, each carrying warheads of antimatter suspended in electromagnetic fields. They struck 3 hive ships simultaneously. The explosions were biblical. Matter and antimatter annihilated each other with perfect efficiency, each warhead releasing energy equivalent to a small star's output for a microsecond. The shockwaves disrupted swarm coordination patterns, sending millions of drones into disarray. "Now," Jenny said, "show them the Casimir array." The weapon was elegant in its horror. By manipulating quantum vacuum fluctuations across a massive area, the shadow created regions where the fundamental forces of physics changed ratio. In an expanding sphere 300 kilometers in radius, the strong nuclear force weakened by exactly 12%. Every swarm drone in that sphere simply fell apart, atomic nuclei unable to maintain cohesion. Bioships dissolved into clouds of subatomic particles. It was surgical, absolute, and terrifying in its implications. "My gods," Zephyx whispered, watching his sensors show empty space where moments before a significant fraction of the swarm had existed. "What weapon?" The shadow finally revealed itself. Its stealth systems disengaged, and for the first time, Coalition sensors registered its presence. A sleek, dark vessel that radiated no heat, reflected no light naturally, visible only because it chose to be. "Coalition Fleet, this is Commander Jenny Okonkwo of the United Earth Space Command Vessel Shadow of Earth," Jenny transmitted on open channels. "Humans send their regards." The swarm, facing an opponent it couldn't track and weapons it couldn't adapt to fast enough, made a choice the Galactic Council had never seen before. It retreated. Millions of drones folded back, hive ships accelerating to superluminal speeds, fleeing a battlefield for the first time in recorded coalition history. In the council chamber, Ambassador Chen stood before the same assembly that had mocked her 4 days prior. This time, no one laughed. "You've been conducting secret weapons research," Thexler said slowly, his mandibles still. "In violation of coalition first contact protocols." "We've been preparing," Anna corrected, "for a galaxy that judged us primitive. The Shadow is one of 7 vessels in humanity's dark fleet. We built them because we learned an important lesson from our history. Respect isn't given to the weak. It's earned by the capable." "This is," Zephyx struggled for words. "Your weapon, the one that disintegrated the swarm drones. It manipulates fundamental forces. Such technology is theoretical even for us." "Was theoretical," Anna said. "Humanity has limitations, yes. We're young, our ships are less elegant than yours, our understanding of the galaxy is limited. But we're very, very good at 2 things. Solving problems others consider impossible and surviving threats others underestimate. We've done both for our entire existence." The vote came the next day. Unanimous approval for humanity's membership in the Galactic Defense Coalition, with full fleet integration, and a request, practically a plea, for technical sharing agreements regarding human stealth and weapons technology. Jenny received the news aboard the Shadow, now docked at Coalition Station Prime for the first time in its existence. Around him, alien species that had mocked humanity now studied his ship with equal parts fear and fascination. "Think they learned their lesson?" Lieutenant Kess asked. Jenny smiled, watching a group of Crithian engineers hover near the Shadow's hull, their instruments unable to penetrate even its passive stealth systems. "They laughed at humans," he said quietly. "They won't make that mistake again." In the depths of space, the remaining 6 ships of humanity's dark fleet continued their patrols, invisible guardians of a species that had been underestimated for the last time. The galaxy had learned. Humanity might be young, might be primitive in some ways, might still use metal and fusion drives on their public vessels. But when humans decided to build something new, something secret, something that would ensure their survival, they built nightmares that could make even the swarm flee in terror. And they did it while everyone was laughing.